definitely say learn with as many people as you can. This will bring you to unlock some ideas because um, every teacher has his own way of teaching, of course, and maybe it adapts to 99% of the people, but 1% of the people no. And so this 1% should not give up on the dance, should just give up on this teacher. And not because the teacher is bad, but it's just not made for him or for her. And so, yeah, that's the first.
All right, so I am now on the line with a Miss Marta Mignone, who is a dancer, teacher, and choreographer, specializing in Kizomba, UrbanKiz, FusionKiz, as well as Bachata. Is that correct?
Yes. Hello, everybody. Hello. Hello, hello.
so, so if I'm not mistaken, you were born in Italy and you currently live in Italy now. Is that correct?
Yes, 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 yeah. I currently live there in Milano.
In Milan. How are you doing today, Miss Marta?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. It's a beautiful day and birds are singing outside. So, yes,
That's
it's a beautiful.
awesome. That's awesome. Hey. So I guess in order to start this interview out, I would love to hear from Ms. Marta. Please tell me, what or how was your childhood growing up in Italy? What was that like for you?
Well, I grew up in a small. I was born and grew up in a small city next to Milan. It's a small town called Novara. For those who know a little bit more about Italy, is very very famous for the production of rice. So, like the top of Italy. So, yeah, I was born and raised in this small city. So um, I grew up with my family. I have two siblings. I'm the one in the middle, and my family have a family company. So, like, I had my education, and I had the chance. Thanks God, thanks my family. I had the chance to study in good schools, and also. I went to university in the really the one that I wanted to. So I got my degree in psychology, so actually, I'm a psychologist. And but meanwhile, I was dancing and actually time ago skiing also, but that I put that on the side. So I was dancing, and then while I was studying psychology, the dance really took over. So as soon as I got my graduation, actually dance became my career.
Okay, that's awesome. That's a quick overview of everything.
Yes.
Um, I'm very curious to hear. Going back to your childhood, I guess, you spoke about skiing. Tell me, what were some of your childhood hobbies? What did you enjoy doing?
Sorry, say it again.
Oh, I said, what were some of your childhood hobbies?
Hobbies, so skiing on top of all, skiing absolutely. And then I like motorcycles. I was really like a male girl,
Like
like
a
a really.
tomboy.
Yeah, not the dancer you see today. I used to hang out with boys and do run with motorcycles and skiing, all this male stuff. That's why still today I have some knowledge of cars and motorcycles. And when guys hear me talking like this, they're like, "Whoa, how a dancer can know this? How you can know this?" And but yeah, I wanted to say that I had a very nice childhood. Also because my family is very close, so like with my uncles and aunties and my grandmothers, we are really close. So which is kind of typical in Italy for Italian families. It's kind of typical to stay close, to grow up together, to help each other. And so I really cannot complain. I feel happy. I feel blessed.
That's awesome. That's so good to hear. Um, tell me this real quick. Did you grow up in a dancing household, or was that something that you really didn't develop till after school?
The dance, you mean? How did I get into dance?
Just growing up, did your family dance when, in your youth? Was dancing a
No,
big part of? Okay,
no,
no.
no, no, no. I'm like the black sheep of my family for this. They're really all into financial economy, computer, IT, and like my brother is a informatic engineer, so it's completely yeah. I'm really the black sheep of the family. I'm the artistic mind. No, 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 completely only me.
So tell me this then, real quick. How important was music in your household growing up?
Well, that was a big part of it. Music was always present at home, in my family, also because my family and also his uncle, so like his side, they were pianists. So they used to play piano. So music has always been there. But I will say not at all the music that I dance today. So music like Italian culture and stuff like this. So yeah, I grew up. I developed my own. How can I say my style? My conscious of music, let's say, um, a little later than my friends, I will say, because I was more like. Following what the others were listening to. So if a friend was coming with a song, that's okay. It didn't matter if it was Italian, English rap, or Latino, whatever. So I developed my conscious of music. Can I say this in English? Yeah. Later on.
Okay, I definitely understand that. I definitely understand that. Tell me this real quick. I'm very curious to hear from you. I've never had a chance to visit Italy.
Mm.
Uh, how influential is American music in Italy, if at all?
Well, first, I definitely suggest you to come to visit Italy, just not right now. Just not right now. It's not the right moment. But as soon as you can, please come. Yeah, American music is definitely part of our absolute culture. We hear it in the radio, we hear it on TV. So we have like a channel, music channel that keep playing American music as well as Italian music. Definitely, yeah. So it's absolutely there. I would say that it's something of new generations more than older, but is there? Is absolutely there.
Okay. Okay, and I'm very curious to hear from you.
Hey kid, come here. Hey, if you could like and subscribe for the channel, that'd be amazing. Let's get back to the show.
Okay, and I'm very curious to hear from you. Growing up, in Italy pretty much your whole life. Can you maybe put into words how has Italy changed or evolved as you've grown up?
Especially where I live, so in the north of Italy, where Milano is, has changed on a way of opening to many different cultures. So yeah, Italy used to be known for being closed and not really welcome to foreigners, not really welcome to, I mean, to tourists. Yes, absolutely. But okay, come visit and then ciao. um, but I will say that in the last 15 years, especially the north of Italy, really changed about this. And I think the proof of this was 5 years ago that we hosted the expo, the Worldwide Expo. We hosted in Milan, and this was really like the click, the proof that Italy changed and was ready to welcome many foreigners to come and stay and live and open their companies, their business, and everything.
Okay, I understand that. I understand that.
Mm.
So yeah, so you're growing up in Italy, and you said you actually had an opportunity to go to university and get your undergraduate degree in psychology. Is that right?
Yeah,
I'm very curious.
yeah, yeah,
Where did you
yeah.
go for school?
I want to say one thing before this, because you said you grew up your most life in Italy. Yes, but I've been living 1 year in USA. When yeah, when I was 16, I came to live to in close to Manassas in Virginia. I did like an exchange program, you know, to go and study the language, to go and study, to have an experience um, abroad. And so I came to US. I spent there 1 year from when I was 16 to when I was 17, and then I came back. So basically, I attended high school in US, and yeah, I did
I would
my
say
graduation
I'm
there.
actually. Well, I'm sorry to cut you off, but yeah, I'm actually from Virginia, and I know Manassas. That's Northern Virginia, so I know that area.
Okay, so if you know specifically, I was in Woodbridge.
My dad used to work in Woodbridge.
My gosh, see how small is the world?
Yeah, and you were near DC. Did you ever visit DC at all?
Absolutely, yeah, yeah, yeah. The 11 months actually that I spent there, because I arrived in September and I left in July, the next July. So I travel as much as possible. Yeah, I went to DC often. I went to Pennsylvania, Virginia, New Jersey, New York, and I visit California back at the days. Mm,
Well, let me ask you this then. I'm very curious to hear from you. I don't know if you can put this into
I'm
words at
afraid.
all.
Start to
It's
be
nothing
afraid.
good. I'm curious. Can you compare Italy to the United States? Is there anything that they're maybe similar or different in any way?
Absolutely, there are similar and different things. Absolutely. So first, everything is big in US, like roads and cars and grocery stores and houses. Everything is so big. It's like, gosh, you have space, people. You know, in Italy we have these tiny little streets with tiny little cars, and we live in 15 apartments. And so, because the space is way smaller. So yeah, that was the first thing that really surprised me when I arrived in US. Um, but pretty much, I will say that movies and yeah, movies really describe you well. So if you watch some movies, then when you arrive in US, it's like, yeah, I saw it. Yeah, I knew about it. Yeah, I remember that. So one thing that really touched me was when I arrived in high school the first day, and they said, okay, so as soon as I entered, I was like, whoa, am I in a movie or what? I was really surprised, and then they said, this is your locker. I was like, really? I have a locker? Like my favorite actress. I used to have a locker in her movie. So, yeah, and the system is well described. I mean, I would say, especially for high school, for school, is well described in movies. So everything was like, yeah, and everybody was going to the basketball game, and everybody's going to the football game. And those are the cheerleaders, really. So yeah, these were, I was surprised, but on the other side, I kind of know what I was expecting. One thing that really, uh, let's say, touched me, maybe also because I was only 16, so still a young lady, um, is the how united are the people. Yeah, especially inside the family, because of course I was living in a hosted by an American family when I was living there, and like we have a schedule of the day. Everybody's busy, so my dad goes to work, my mom goes to work, my brother goes to school, and blah blah blah. But still, at the end of the day, we reunite at around the same table to talk about the day, to eat together, to spend some time together, and this was something very missing for me there. I really miss this. Yeah, because it was like
Okay.
if I come home at this time, I will eat. I don't care if someone else is coming later or before or blah blah blah. So it's like more individual, if I can say it in this way.
I definitely understand that. I definitely understand that.
Okay.
Um, yeah. So I'm curious. So you said you moved to America for a year. You do your transfer student, and then you go back. I guess I'm very curious to hear about your time at university. What was that like going to school in Italy? What was that like for you?
It was great. It was great. It was just kind of hard, because I chose to attend a very hard university in Italy. Like, you can study psychologist in Milano in a few university, and I chose this one, where there is a hard test to get in, and I'm talking about like 500 people taking a test, and there are only 25 spots. So it's
What
like
school was this?
it's a university inside of a hospital in Milano. It's called San Raffaele. Yeah, so it's a very high quality, and for this is very selective. But I wanted to study there because I wanted to have a good education. So yeah, so I chose this, and it was kind of hard because we had 8 hours of classes per day, Monday to Thursday, and meanwhile I was dancing. So it's like in the night, as soon as finished to study, to attend my classes, I was like running to give dance classes, and then maybe go to club because I had the party there, and then sleep 2 hours, and then again boom back to school. So it was like very very tough.
Okay, so there's a lot to unpack there, but I want to say first off, congratulations on getting into that school. That sounds
Thank you.
very, very competitive and graduating. Like seriously, that is very impressive.
Thank you.
Uh, of course, I'm curious. You said you started dancing. How did you get introduced to salsa? Then I'm very curious to hear about that.
Gosh, this is like the most common question I get. So, as I said, I was not like really feminine back at the time. Um, so I had this friend, male friend, who wanted to attend some salsa classes in our city, and he was like, "I want to go to take some salsa classes, but I don't want to go there alone. So would you come with me?" I was like, "Salsa." What the hell is that? Latin party? No, 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 no. I don't want to get into this. And he was like, come on, do me a favor. I was like, no, no, it's not for me. Like, I know it's not for me. Don't try to push me on this. And he was like, okay, I promise. We do 1 month together. Just do 1 month with me taking these classes, and I come to pick you up and drive you back home every day we have a class. So it was really like pushing. I said, okay, okay, 1 month. Okay, promise. And then he said, at the end of the month, if you don't want it, we give up, we stop. If you want it, we keep going. I was like, sure, sure. And then look what I am today. So I think I liked it.
So real quick, tell me this. Then I want to hear from you. Going back to 2008 when you first started salsa. Tell me about your beginner stage. What was that like?
The beginner stage. Well, I got into my beginner salsa and bachata class with my friend, and actually after 3 months he left. Yes, because he was like, no, I finally don't really like it. So he left. And I stayed there and I kept studying. And then in 6 months, actually, my teacher said, I think beginner class is just not for you. You should move to intermediate. I was like, okay, why not? So the second half of the year, I did it in the intermediate, and then the next year I was ready to go intermediate again. But he said, let's move to the advanced. So like in 2 years, I did beginners, intermediate, advanced. So um, and then the year after, he asked me, would you like to assist me into classes? And would you like to start to participate to some Latin parties like animation, taxi dancer, just giving some workshop, assisting me, and blah, blah, blah. And that's how I started. Then my career, my friendship and my career with this person finished. But in the meantime, I met another dancer who actually asked me if I wanted to compete, and so I was like, oh, I never thought about it. And so we kind of prepared some routines, and we went to the Italian championship and then the world championship. And then boom, 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 boom.
That's awesome. Tell me this real
And
quick. Who was your first salsa instructor? Who was that?
well, this guy that it was in this small city in Italy. Um, yeah, he was my first salsa teacher. He's absolutely unknown. It's like it's just a yeah, it's just a guy who has a really small school in this small town. So, but his name is Beppe. If someone wants to know.
I mean, yeah, just a
Yeah,
real quick shout out. That's kind of like who started the journey for you, right?
yeah, exactly. It's like who
Yeah.
saw something in me was like. Mm.
Seriously, yeah. And so, real quick, I'm very curious to hear from you about this. I guess what was the social dancing scene in 2008 in Italy? Like, what was that scene like?
In 2008. Yeah, there were way less parties than today. Way less party than today. But still many, because salsa is a huge thing in Italy. Absolutely, I will say that still today salsa, Italy, mainly Milano, but let's say Italy is the world capital of salsa still today. Yeah, somebody said New York, but New York was it? I guess I would say New York was the capital of salsa as long as Eddie Torres was at the top of his career. But then, it became Milano, Italy, and it never changed. It's still today, as well as Madrid is the capital of bachata. Milano is the capital of salsa.
Okay, okay, that's awesome. I never knew that. I never knew that.
It's like a huge thing. Well, back in 2008, parties were less than today, but they were definitely full. Situation today is that every day of the week you can dance salsa. You have salsa parties in Milan every day of the week, and from Wednesday to Sunday, actually, you can have up to 10 parties going on at the same time. Yeah, and plus the festivals. And on Friday and Saturday there are parties who actually reach 2,000 people.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
it's like a festival, but it's just a club.
So,
Yeah.
tell me this then, real quick. So, you know, there's there's so many parties, so that means that there's so many people attending these events. Uh, I'm very curious. I guess talk to me about is there a competition among instructors? And if so, what is that like? Or what is that?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. We have like top names, of course, like big worldwide known people, which have years and years of careers, and those are the top names. Apart than that, we have, let's say, the middle class, which are based on good schools, good school, not very famous worldwide, actually maybe not famous at all worldwide, but school with excuse me, school with good teachers, and full full classes, and then there are the poor poor teachers, poor category. I call it this way, not because they are poor in their pockets, but because they are poor in their knowledge. And these are the worst, because they steal, one, two, three people from here, five, six, or 10 from there, and then they don't have a school, but maybe they teach in their living room, or they teach like in the basement, and then they run their own party without anything legal or stuff like this. And as long as these parties are not big, but let's say that they still have like 40, 50 people, yeah, these 40, 50 people are stolen from real school, and those 40, 50 people are learning, oh, i'm sorry I'm sorry, are learning actually something wrong, because these teachers don't have knowledge, so they cannot share any knowledge. So that's why I call them poor line, poor category. Yeah.
So yeah, well, so real quick, let me ask you this then. For someone who is, a beginner and they're looking for, an instructor, whether it be for salsa, bachata, kizomba, whatever dance style it may be. Um, how can they go about finding the right teacher? Make sure they don't find that poor teacher, and they
Yeah.
find that reputable teacher. How does one go about that?
Unfortunately, there is a high risk that somebody who just fall into the system, the Latin dance system, there is a high risk that this person will meet one of them. Um, other than he knows someone already dancing. So maybe this someone who is already dancing can tell him, look, don't make this mistake, don't go there. I suggest you other schools. But apart than that, unfortunately, if this person is not curious, so let's say can check on YouTube, on Facebook, ask other people and search a little bit. If he doesn't do a research, then there is a risk that this person will fall into those classes.
So okay, so I understand that. So let me ask you this then, because to someone who is new to the scene, anyone and everyone looks like an amazing dancer. Yes.
Maybe. Okay.
Okay, so and so what I mean is though, I guess what do you look for when you want to find a good teacher? What are some qualities or attributes that let you know this may be a good teacher?
Many people would probably answer how full, how crowded are their classes. But in reality, no, that's not an answer. I absolutely think that this is not an answer uh, because for example, a better teacher may cost a little more. So because it costs a little more, he has less people, um, and so his classes are like less full than the cheap one, but just because of the cost. Or maybe this poor quality teacher is really an entertainment, so he's really a showman, is really a comedian, and so his classes are actually full because people go there and have fun, but they are learning nothing. So yeah, the answer is definitely not how crowded how crowded is the class. um, Maybe the years the number of years this teacher is teaching can be already and can give you already an answer. And probably yeah, the research with other people, the research with other people, trying to understand, trying to ask around, trying to get information. Yeah. Yeah, I would say this, but definitely not how crowded is the class. Excuse me.
You're good. You're good. Now, and I definitely understand that. Some things can definitely be deceiving, so I definitely understand that.
And I would like to precise that all these that we are talking about, all these things that I'm saying, that you actually asked me specifically for salsa, I wanted to say that it works as well for bachata and kizomba. Exactly the same.
Of course, definitely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you start your salsa journey and bachata journey back in 2008, 2009. You go all the way to the world championship, which is super impressive. Um, I guess I'm very curious to hear from you. After all that, how did you get introduced to Kizomba?
Well, before I got introduced to Kizomba, I already left the world of competition because I was sick of the system. So, like, I couldn't stand anymore at seeing so many sneaky, unfair things happening in front of my eyes. So it's like after a few years, I went to my partner and said, "Look, I'm done. I'm done with this. I cannot stand anymore. I cannot see this sick system working anymore. So please let's do something else." So he actually followed me, and we moved to festivals. So more for shows, performances, and teaching. And then, because I kind of started to again go back into salsa clubs, I met this guy who was at that time a bachata teacher, and we had to do a little, let's say, demo performance together for a club where we were working together. And this guy was like, "Okay, let's meet and we make something together, like, let's train a little bit before we do this. Okay, okay, okay. So we met in his school, and he started to like place his hands on my back in a really strange way, and I was like, what are you doing? And he said, oh, this is a new dance, it's called Kizomba. I was like, Kike? So yeah, it's a new dance, let me show you a video. And of course, in 2012 he showed me who? Albion and Sarah, of course, because at that time they were like boom top. I was like, what the hell is this? I love it, I want to dance like this, exactly like this. And so at that time in Italy there were only two teachers of Kizomba. That was all. And one was fortunately in Milano. So he said, hey, if you want, let's go take some classes. So we went to take classes.
Wait,
Uh,
real quick. Who are those two teachers? Name drop, real quick.
the names. So in Milano, it was Davide and Laura, Kizomba Milano. And in the south, there was this teacher called Fernando with his partner Michaela. So yeah, so we were in Milano, and so this guy said, okay, let's go take some classes. So we went, and for 6 months we took classes with this guy. And then he said, well guys, even me, I'm still learning, so I have nothing else right now to give you, but I suggest you to start to travel. So go to festivals and learn as much as you can, and then come back in Italy and let's grow the community together. And we were like, yeah, let's do this. And and so yes, so we were like in the first five couples of Kizomba teachers in Italy. Yeah, so
Okay.
that was like really the beginning. And people don't want to believe this, but when we started and nobody was believing in Kizomba, because really nobody wanted to believe in Kizomba, especially salseros who were saying, yes, in 6 months everybody will forget this dance, blah blah blah. Uh, um, we were opening, like, this teacher opened the first Kizomba party of Milan, and it was like so small, and like nobody was believing this. So the owner of a club gave us the wardrobe. So we were dancing. He took off the jackets and the furniture, and they gave us the wardrobe, the lock room.
Oh,
Yeah.
you can say the wardrobe where you hang your jackets at, though.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes. So you remove some furniture, so it was like, okay, you can dance. And we were like so happy, like, yeah, we started our Kizomba party. Yeah,
So,
gosh.
oh, I mean, that's they call it, humble beginnings. So I definitely understand that. I want
Wow.
to ask you. I want to ask the questions similar to what I asked you before. Please tell me about your beginner stage in Kizomba. What was that like?
My beginner stage. So you mean as a learner, as a student?
Exactly. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, so so we learn the basics from this guy in Milan, and then together with this my friend who became also my dance partner at that time, we started to travel. So first we went to Spain to meet Albira and Sara and to take a festival there, and then we went to Paris to another festival over there to learn a little bit, and then everything that's like the knowledge we were getting, we were bringing back home and starting to teach, to share this knowledge with people, to grow the Kizomba community. And then starting a few parties, and then clubs were like, okay, but show us something. So actually we put together a show, and we were not ready for this, we were really not ready. We were performers already, but something else, no Kizomba performance. So we were not ready, but clubs were like, people need to see something, like show something. So we put together a show, and it was like, today when I look at this show, I'm like, oh gosh, what I was doing. But the community needed somebody to push on this, and so yeah, that's what we did. And then we kept learning, and at the same time kept teaching, and the community grew up, and the numbers of teachers grew up, and the numbers of clubs grew up. Thanks God, it means that the job was well. And And then a few years later, I met Moon, that everybody knows who he is, Moon from Paris. And I was actually on a way to stop working with this guy, and at the same time, he was in his way to change his dance partner because some things were not working. And so he proposed me to partner up with him, and this was 2015. And then was like, boom. Really the change of life, the change of career, the change of everything. And we developed together what today you call the UrbanKiz.
Okay, that's amazing. That's amazing.
I wanted to say, to be fair, that we were not alone, but to develop UrbanKiz, of course it was Moon and me, of course it was Ena and Carolina back at that time, and later on Curtis and Carola.
Okay, sure enough. Yeah, please give props and respect, no doubt.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I don't want
Let
to
me
take off.
let me ask you this real quick. And it's kind of like a two-part question for you.
Hmm.
But okay, but for you've been dancing kizomba for so long. Um, for someone who is just now getting into kizomba, they are a beginner. I want to ask you this question. Knowing, or let me ask you this: what are some things that you know about kizomba today that you wish you had known when you first started dancing?
Um, for sure, one thing that it really makes an important step for someone who is learning today, and back at the time also, but especially today, is to understand that there are different styles in Kizomba, which are today well defined, which they were not back at the time. But today they are well defined. They have rules. They have uh, yeah, rules of stepping, of weight transfer, of leading and following, that they are specific for each style. And this is my big wish for my big wish for someone who is a beginner today, to first understand the different style, to don't get confused, to don't uh, pretend to know one style, and so that's for sure the only one, or that's for sure the best one, or that's for sure the only one that um, I will ever dance. Because even me, when I first started, the only style that was existing, let's say, was Kizomba, like pure Kizomba, what today we call traditional or authentic. And so that was the only style. And then a little bit later, it was already coming what they were called the French style, or French kiss, or French style, which later on became Kizomba fusion. And so all this knowledge, really, if you don't have it, it can create a lot of confusion, because um, one main point is about the connection. And so few styles keep having this connection, and if one style or two don't at all. So and people start worse, literally worse on top of this, like, no, you should be connected, no, you should not, no, you should not give her lead a return, no, you should lead a return, no, you should not let her do her styling, yes, you should let her do her styling. And they really fight on top of this, when actually it's just depending on the style that you're dancing. So if you're dancing one specific style, it will allow you to lead and follow. Ooh, I'm back. Will allow you to lead and follow in one way, and this specific rule will not be possible to be used in another style. So that's why it's not working for someone else. But instead of fighting, learn, study, get your knowledge to the next level. Like this, you understand what I'm doing and what you are doing. And yeah, this is my wish for any beginner always.
I definitely understand that, and that's something I've always heard about. Is the kind of like the in-house fighting
Yeah,
between, I guess, specifically Kizomba and like UrbanKiz.
yeah.
That's definitely a big thing. Yeah, it's something I've always heard about. I'm pretty sure you've probably been asked this questions a million times, but I would still love to hear from you. You probably already know what the question is. But in your opinion, can you put into words, what is the difference between maybe Kizomba and UrbanKiz or FusionKiz? Can you put that into words?
Oh, I definitely can put down in words. um, so basically, to make it very quick and very simple for anybody, um, there are two main categories, and one category is UrbanKiz, and all the other styles falls in the other big family, in the other category. Why UrbanKiz is the only one separate? Because it's the only dance in the Kizomba world that doesn't have the body connection. So you cannot lead with your body. You don't lead with your body. You don't follow with your body. So you don't have the upper part connection. You don't have leg leading. You don't have these kind of things that you have in all the other styles. And when I say all the other styles, I'm talking about authentic kizomba, tarasha, tarashinha, tarasho, so the modern tarasha, kizomba fusion, and FusionKiz, and semba, if we want to add also semba. So these six styles, they lead and follow with the body leading, which UrbanKiz doesn't. That's the main difference. Now, this is not clear anymore today because the UrbanKiz founders are not really there anymore. Because as we know, Moon left the dance world. I am not pushing the UrbanKiz anymore because I have other interests, and with my partner, we prefer to do FusionKiz for a million of other reasons. And now he's not anymore with Carolina, so he had to adapt to new partners, to new influence, to new ideas that he has. So basically, the founders are not really there anymore, unless then Curtis and Carola, who are still teaching this. But one only couple in the world is not enough. So there is a lot of confusion about what is UrbanKiz today. And I don't, I cannot stand when I hear people saying, oh, you dance kizomba or you dance UrbanKiz. No, you don't. No, you don't, because maybe I dance FusionKiz and you dance authentic kizomba. So we are already very different. We are already very different on the way of leading and following, on the possibility to lose and refine the connection, on the way that we step. So it's not possible. The three main categories are kizomba, authentic, of course, which includes also semba and baba. There is the FusionKiz, which is another main category, and there is a UrbanKiz, which is another category. I will put Kizomba Fusion, which is not FusionKiz. I will put Kizomba Fusion together with the Kizomba Authentic, because to give you an example, is still not losing the connection, the Kizomba Fusion. So that's why I will keep it in the family with the authentic Kizomba and the Semba. Okay. Um, but FusionKiz allowed you to lose the connection and then to refound it. UrbanKiz doesn't have the body connection. So every time we see leg leading in UrbanKiz, it's an illusion. In reality, the leading is still coming from the upper part. And if it's not, then it's not UrbanKiz, it's FusionKiz. There is a huge confusion on this, and I know people keep fighting and keep but I wish I mean, I'm doing this speech that I'm doing right now with you basically every weekend, all the year, all around the world, because and people are like, now I understand. Yes. But it takes courage, and it takes knowledge to be able to say this,
That's
if
very
you know what
true.
I mean.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, it's like I think it's what they call like an uphill battle.
Oh,
So we were discussing all that. I'm very curious to know, is dancing your full-time job now?
absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
amazing. That's
As soon
amazing.
as the quarantine will finish, yes.
So so tell me this then real quick, because your life is very different than a lot of other people. So tell me this. what are some things that people may not know about the life of a full-time dancer?
That in reality the dance is 20% of what I do. Yes, that's not 20 now, but let's say 30, 35 of a life of a dancer. The rest is marketing, promotion, dealing with organizers, choreographing, keep yourself in good shape, staying healthy, uh, doing laundry. A lot of laundry. Between one luggage and the other. And yeah, speaking many languages, learning about new culture, to be ready to who you're going to teach to, because people don't realize that if you're teaching in India, the attitude that you will have to the student will never be the same as you're teaching in Vietnam or in China or in Korea, as well as it will never be the same if you're teaching in Sydney. So people coming from different cultures need different um, behaviors, different treatment, different attitudes from you, and you have to learn about this. So yeah, and so definitely the dance is just like 30%.
I
The
understand
rest is
that.
being, sorry,
Real
sorry.
quick, oh, you're good. I have like two questions for you, but I'm just trying to decide which one to ask you. So let me ask you this: how has this whole pandemic, this whole COVID-19, how has this affected, your livelihood?
I killed it. I killed it. Definitely, it shut down my world. So yeah, we live on this and we live on dance, and we don't want to give up. We are waiting for things to open, and in the meantime, we try to stay healthy, strong mind, and to be ready for what is coming next, to be ready to readapt to a new dance world, because it will not be the same, to be ready to imagine new ways of teaching and new ways of dancing. Meanwhile, me and my dance partner Yami, who is in Paris of course right now because that's where he lives, we're actually building a show by online. Of course, no lift. For this we need to wait, but yeah, we're actually building a show like this. When things will be ready, we will be ready, because yeah. And so yeah, readaptation is definitely the key word for this moment. And then a lot of patience. And yeah, yeah,
That's so true, very true.
yeah, yep.
Let me ask you this real quick.
While I'm listening to you, I'm gonna move. Okay? Is that
All
okay
right,
for
no
you?
worries. Yeah, that's fine. Let me ask you
Yes.
this. For someone out there who is an aspiring dancer, they want to live the life that you do. Are there
Mm-hmm.
any are there any, is there any words of wisdom or advice that you could give them to help them on their journey?
Yeah, don't. Don't. It's a shitty life. You don't have a private life. You keep traveling. You don't have your private time. You don't see your family, your friends. You're never there for Christmas, for birthday celebration. No, I mean, this is the hard part of it, of
That's
course.
the truth, though.
But it's true. It's true. It's definitely true. You don't actually have a private life, or at least you have to accept that you have to have a private life together with the public life, and you have to manage them very well, to don't hurt your beloved ones, and to don't hurt yourself, um, because your public reputation is it goes together with your work. So you have to be really careful about it. um, Apart than that, I will say that it's a tough life because it's really competitive, and one day you are at the top and the day after you are down. um, and so you have like no security, because you also have no security because contracts are very particular in our world. So you can actually have a job and then get cancelled. This job, this festival get cancelled, or the school just decide to close your class for whatever reason, and so you don't. The life of a dancer, it takes a lot of sacrifices, if I can say it in this way, because you have to understand that most of the times you will not be there for a birthday celebration, you will not be there for your family, you will not be there for your friends, you will not be there for weddings. I lost the count on how many weddings I lost of my friends, and birthday parties and everything. And every time I'm like just sending messages and doing video calls, because in the meantime I'm in Asia, in Australia, in US, somewhere, and I'm not there with them. And also because it's a competitive life, so you have to have your mind very strong on this. And third reason is because it's totally an insecure life. And this quarantine, I think, really proved us this. From one day to the other, I lost like all my jobs. So festivals, schools, everything shut down, private classes, everything, anything, shows, performances, anything. So from one day to the other. So it's really an insecure life, and you have to be ready for this. I actually have a friend who said to me, Marta, how are we gonna do now? How are you gonna do now that we are in quarantine and we cannot work? How are you gonna sustain yourself? I said, well, I put on the side some savings, so I will start from that. And he said, oh, shoot, shoot, oh, shoot. I didn't put any savings on the side because I always lived my life like if it's the last day. And I was like, yeah, rock and roll, but now what are you gonna do? So yeah, in this case, it's gonna be tough. So it's really for these three reasons. I would not push anybody to start this career other than your passion. Get really over each one of these reasons. Your passion really needs to be over the top to accept all of this.
That is very very true, and it's very unfortunate to hear that from you.
Mm.
I'm curious, and I think I may already know the answer, but can you tell me, despite all of those negatives that you listed, I guess what keeps you going with it? Is it strictly your passion, or is there something else that kind of gives you that fire?
Yeah, definitely the passion on top of all. Second, the one thing that really reminds me often why I'm doing this job is to see the development of my students. Yeah, either my weekly students, but also people that I meet somewhere in some countries, and then I meet them again after 1 or 2 years, and see them growing, see them getting inspired by me. It's like giving me such a fuel from the inside. And the other reason is because I'm a performer, so being on stage gives me like a shot of adrenaline every time that it's an emotion that I don't want to lose. I don't want to live without it.
Okay, I understand that. I definitely do.
Mm,
Let
yes.
me. Do you have time for a couple more questions?
Yes,
Hey,
please.
hey, perfect, perfect, perfect. So you've been dancing, for a large portion of your life. I'm very curious to hear from you. What are some lessons that you've learned from dancing that you're able to translate to your everyday life?
That you, first of all, the biggest lesson I learned that let me put this down in the right way. You should never stop being a student. Yeah, that's really what dance is teaching me, like every day. You should never stop being a student, no matter of what. You can be a dancer but being a student of another language, or learning how to sing, or learning how to, I don't know, use the computer, or build a website, or learn a new religion, or learn a new language. I mean, anything, but never, ever, ever stop being a student. This is definitely what dance is teaching me every day since I started.
That's very very true. They say that the day you stop learning is the day you die. Correct?
For real,
Yeah,
for
I
real.
understand
Yeah.
that.
So some people ask me, I want to connect to this to say that some people are asking me, but Marta, at the level that you are in Kizomba, so it's like you building steps, you creating new styles, you creating new steps, you creating inspiration for others. So how do you study? Like as a dancer, what do you study? And this is a really common question to me, and my answer is very simple. I just keep studying other dances, and even though I will never use these steps, or this routine, or this whatever, these are teaching my body to move in another way, to listen to the music in another way, to unlock a move that I didn't know before, and that I can find a way to bring into my kizomba, or bring into my bachata, or bring into my show. So yeah, I study. I keep studying. Just no, not basically kizomba, but I keep studying. I do. I'm actually getting very involved into the Brazilian zouk scene, because I find this dance very nice and interesting. Um, I keep studying whatever African dance, single African dance, or reggaeton, or modern jazz, whatever it comes, funky pop, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I say I would definitely agree with you. Like you said, it kind of opens your mind to new possibilities, right? When you study a different
Yeah,
dance style.
yeah.
So I definitely understand that.
Yeah. It happened to me not so long time ago, that I was in a was in a kizomba party, and I got introduced to a teacher. Um, this is a teacher of rock and roll and swing. So he was just there to visit a friend, and to meet some people. He didn't dance kizomba, but he started, the DJ play a song that for some reason he had a beat that for him it was unlocking his dance. So he looked at me and said, "Do you dance rock and roll?" I was like, "No, no, no. Come on, some swing." I'm like, "No, no, no, no." Okay, just do like one step on front, three on the back, one on the side, and then you repeat one step on front, three on the back, one on the side. Okay, keep this in mind and just keep going and follow me. And we actually danced, like we danced, because I kept this circle, like loop in my mind. So I was keep doing this with my feet, and then we were actually he was leading the rest, of course. And this, at the end, I felt like, oh, that was amazing. Thank you very much. Really blessed for this occasion. But he did one move that as soon as I stopped, I went to my partner and I said, "Is it possible to lead this in Kizomba?" And we actually created a step.
That's
So
amazing.
yeah, so that's how it works. Mm,
It
okay.
definitely is. That's an instant example right there.
Mm, yeah, absolutely. We have, especially for the Brazilian zouk, we have been fusioning some Brazilian zouk movement into Kizomba, with the leading and following of Kizomba in FusionKiz. Because if you respect the rule, if you know the rules, then you can break them.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense though. Yeah, exactly.
That's the key. That's the key.
Um, That's so true. So real quick, I want to I want to give some value to some dancers out there. So I really just want to ask you a couple more questions and just have you answer them, all right?
Yeah.
So for someone who is a beginner in a
Uh-huh.
dance
Yeah.
and they feel like they're not getting better, like they're stuck in this beginner's ruts, what advice or words of wisdom could you give to them?
Um, well, if this person is studying with only one teacher, then the first thing I would say is to try to open the possibilities to other teachers to discover new things. Not because his or her teacher is a bad one, but maybe it's just not explaining in the way that this person is ready to learn from. So yeah, I would definitely say learn with as many people as you can. Um, this will bring you to unlock some ideas because um, every teacher has his own way of teaching, of course, and maybe it adapts to 99% of the people, but 1% of the people no. And so this 1% should not give up on the dance, should just give up on this teacher, and not because the teacher is bad, but it's just not made for him or for her. And so yeah, that's the first tip. And second, when beginners are stuck and the position, most of the times is because they don't social dance enough. They don't social dancing enough. Yeah. They're not going out enough, they're not practicing enough, or they practice only at home alone. But if this is called couple dance, it's called social dance, then alone at home is not the answer. You need to social dancing, you need to couple up, partner up, and dance. Definitely developing your own skills, especially on styling and musicality, is absolutely important. But then, if it's called couple dance, then there is a reason why it's called couple dance. So yeah,
A lot of times that can be social dance can be very intimidating, but I definitely understand what you're saying.
yeah, it can be intimidating. But if you, for example, if you find at the party um, or at the festival people who were in your class, it should scare you less because it means that if they were in your class, they are at the same level as you. So why not trying to do something together? Mhm.
That's very true. That's very,
Yeah.
very true.
And I want to take advantage to to say one thing that as you, because now you made me think about it. You said it's really intimidating, and this is one sentence that I get often. Oh, no, 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 Marta, I cannot dance with you. No, 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 absolutely not. You intimidate me, and I can feel that. Like, I swear, I have guys who are shaking while they're dancing with me. I can feel their heartbeat so strong that it's getting into my chest. Sometimes they are dropping like sweat on top of me so much they are in like nervous and anxious. So I understand that. I just would like to remind these people that I'm just a simple girl who like to dance. I'm not a teacher, I'm not a star, I'm not whatever alien. Okay, yes, it's true, I have some skills, I have some knowledge, but I just want to dance. So um, some many people, especially beginners, don't come to invite me because they say, I know just a few routines, I know just basic steps, I know just these 2 3 things, so you will get bored. But the thing that they don't understand is, first, I don't want for you to impress me because I'm not looking for a dance partner. I already have my dance partner. So I don't want for you to impress me. I just want for you to make me dance and for both of us enjoy. And and this is very, very important. You don't have to impress me. I'm already impressed. I already have my dance partner, so I just want to dance. Second thing, imagine that I'm dancing every day of the week. Let's take a festival, 3 days of the festival for 3 parties. Maybe if there is a pre-party, 4, and I'm dancing 5 hours per night. So if any dance was high level, high cardio, high quality, I will die. So sometimes I need some beginners who just do some basics, you know. It's needed. So beginners are welcome. Come.
And that's a great way to look at it too. I'll say for myself, I sometimes get intimidated by dancing with my instructor, and
Yeah.
I think it's just like you said, I don't want to bore that person. I don't want to bore them, but um, you kind of put it right into words for me.
Yes, and third thing, which is very interesting, is that for a beginner for a beginner or intermediate, whatever, but let's say someone not high experience, who can who can have the experience of like the feeling of dancing with me, can really unlock something in his mind, can really click something like, whoa, that's the feeling that I want from any dance. And so this creates a magic inside of him that will not let him leave the dance world when things will get harder, or when maybe one girl will say no, or someone will tell him that he's not good. But he will remember that feeling that he had dancing with me, and this will keep him alive, like on the dance floor. And this is something very important. um, so please, beginners are welcome. Hello.
Hey, no, that's so true. That's so true. That motivation is so needed for a lot of people.
Mm,
Um, let me ask you the continuation to that question. For
mm,
someone who is an intermediate and they want to get to that advanced level, what does it take for
yeah.
them?
Um, Intermediate, advanced. Okay. To the intermediate, to the advanced. First, I don't think that we call intermediate the same person, because I saw this traveling around, like what is intermediate for me maybe is already advanced for you, or vice versa. So this is an interesting topic also, because like sometimes they give me and Yami some classes to teach, and they say, oh yeah, yeah, you teach FusionKiz advanced. Okay, then we come to class advanced. And half of the class is like lost since the first eight. So what do you mean advanced? What do you mean advanced? What do you mean intermediate? Intermediate for me or intermediate for you? And what is for you? So this is really a big confusion. But apart than that, I think that um, the real click is if an intermediate gets to an advanced level for me, when he's able to do um, very high technique or high musicality step or routine with anyone. So also with beginners, who is able to enjoy, to make it, even a beginner, female follower or leader, it doesn't matter, enjoy the dance. That's what really makes this person an advance. Because of course an intermediate leader who is dancing with an advanced follower, of course will fly, because the followers is an advance. It's like high high standard, okay? But what if this intermediate is able to do the same things with a beginner follower and still make her enjoy the dance? That's what makes him an advance.
That's very true, and that's something I definitely can agree with.
Mm.
Definitely, yeah. When you're able, yeah, when you're able to lead, move with someone who doesn't really know the move, I think that shows a high level of capability or ability. So I understand that.
Without putting the other person um, in an uncomfortable position, also. Without making the other person feeling uncomfortable, like, okay, I did this, but I didn't feel it was right. So this was not good. Um, so yeah, that's my definition of an advance.
I understand that, and that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. Let me ask you let me ask you like two more questions. For musicality, how can someone improve their musicality?
Oh gosh. How can someone prove their musicality? um, I would say that from a leader, for a leader to prove the musicality is being able to use your follower as the instrument. So not yourself, but to be able to lead this musicality that you have to your follower. From the follower side, I would say that high level of musicality is when you're able to play with your own musicality, which can be different from the one of your leader, from the musicality of your leader, and still not disturbing his leading. Make sense?
I believe so. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's kind of like having your own style within that couple dance.
Without disturbing the other person. Yes, of course, finding your own space without disturbing the other person, which sometimes cannot be possible because when you're dancing really, really connected and tight, and your leader is just holding you very, very tight, it's hard to express this, but you can still enjoy the hug.
I understand that definitely. And let me ask you one last question. Um,
Okay, go for it.
can you give me one tip that can make anyone a better dancer immediately?
Take my classes.
Come on now.
um, one tip. One tip it would be feel comfortable with what you're doing. You really need to feel comfortable. I i often compare, especially when I'm teaching lady styling, I often compare the lady styling with clothes, with fashion, because I believe that this makes more sense, especially in a female mind. um, so lady styling compared to clothes means, um, I can look at another girl and see a dress on top of her, and how beautiful is this dress and how beautiful she's looking inside of this dress, and admire the view, but just being able to realize that I will never feel comfortable with the dress. It's just not made for me. So it is looking amazing, beautiful on her. It's just not made for me. Why? For X reason, because it's just not how I like to dance. So I don't like my legs, so it's better for me not to wear a dress. So for X reason, it's just not made for me. But I can still admire how beautiful she looks with this dress. So um, the lady styling and the styling in general, even the men's styling works the same, is something that we need to feel comfortable on ourselves. Like is your perfect dress, as long as much as is your as you find is your perfect dress. Um, so to put this in a more general vision, so bigger vision, I would say that in dance, to be better, to really develop, you need to feel comfortable with what you're doing. Because if you don't feel comfortable with the steps, with the music, with the lead, with the follow, with the musicality, with the styling, then you will stay stuck. You will not move forward.
That's super duper important. Yeah, when you're comfortable with it, you're able to lead it better. You have better dances, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So that's my tip.
Hey, that's perfect. That's perfect. I really appreciate that.
Thank
At
you.
this point, Ms. Marta, I really want to thank you so much for taking time out of your day to talk to me.
Thank you very much. It was such a pleasure, and time flies so fast.
Of course,
Yeah.
of course. Real quick, tell me this. Do you have any events that you want to plug? Anything going on that you want to, talk about?
Right now, right now is not the right moment, but I want to say people that as soon as the borders will reopen, as soon as in your own community or around the world someone will have the chance, the opportunity to reopen a party, to reopen a festival, people go and support. Go and support. So see you around the world, see you on the dance floor.
Yeah. Real quick before we go, tell me how can people get in contact with you? How can they reach out to you?
Well, easily with my name and last name, Marta Mignone or Marta MGN. You can find me on any social media. So Facebook, I have profile, page, a group. On Instagram, I have my page. On Snapchat, on WeChat, on Viber, on Telegram, on everywhere, literally everywhere, with my name and last name. And yeah, that's it. That's it. That's it.
That's perfect. That's perfect. When I upload this, I'm gonna make sure put all your contact information in the details.
Yes, please. And thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for reaching me, reaching up to me, and for this interview.
Hey, of course. Thank you so much, Marta. Please enjoy the rest of your day. All right.
You
Hey,
too.
all
Thank you
right.
very much.
Ciao.
Ciao.
That's all it is. Hey everyone, if you made it this far to all to the end of the video, I want to thank you so much. Um, my overall goal with making these interviews and these episodes is to give a voice to dancers, to give them a platform to speak their story. So if this is of value to anyone, then that means the world to me. My overall goal is to give value to the dance community. So if you find no value in this, then I urge you to please let me know where I can improve on. I truly want to, just give value and content to the dance community. So please let me know how I can improve, where I'm messing up, because to be 100% honest with you, I'm learning along the way as I do this. I truly am. So to be able to interact with the dance community, it means the world to me, because it gives me feedback and it lets me know what I'm doing right, where I can improve upon, what I'm doing wrong, which I feel like might maybe more important. So please, if you all could comment and just let me know what you think, it means the world to me, because that feedback just helps me improve. So please comment as well. Please like and subscribe. That means a lot as well. But I want to say thank you so much for just watching this, because it means the world to me. I want to take you on this journey of the Two Left Feet podcast. I'm very excited for it. So once again, thank you so much.